Here.
Mr. Spangler.
Here.
Mrs. Wright. Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to recommend that the board approve the minutes for the following board meeting: July 11th regular meeting and July 28th special.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Spangler, seconded by Mr. Mariola.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Mariola.
Aye.
Your treasurer's report and recommendation. We have item A, petty cash and exchange fund. I would recommend the Board of Education approve the following petty cash and change fund instituted in accordance with board policy 66, 20, and 25, as presented in exhibit number.
So.
Get here.
Get here.
Thank you.
Wish to recommend that the board approve the petty cash and change funds presented in exhibit number 1.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Mariola and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright.
Aye.
Mr. Mariola.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Item B, return of advances for fiscal year.
Sorry, hold on a second, please.
Just a second.
Check, 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 check.
That's like
You
a
know.
Should be good.
Got it. Return of advances, I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the advances back to the general fund as presented in exhibit number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Mariola.
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews. Mrs. Powell.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler. Okay, that concludes my portion.
Thank you. Dr. Jones?
Thanks, Mr. Powers. We are fortunate today to have Councilperson Sarah Drew and Rob Kurtz from the city do a presentation for the board. And this involves the Ohio Safe Routes to School program. And the city did receive a Ohio grant to study our school buildings here in Stow and take a look at how they can make routes to school and from school for our children safer, whether they're walking or riding their bikes. And they're here to give the board an update on where we are with the project, which has been in the works for about 2 years, I believe. Sarah?
Thank you. Thank you for having us tonight. It's nice to spend Monday night with the school board instead of a city council meeting. It's a nice change of pace for me, so thanks for having us. We have come to talk about the Safe Routes to Schools program, which Russ alluded to. It is a collaboration among the City of Stow, the Stow Munroe Falls School District, and the Ohio Department of Transportation. And we actually began talking about this project in December of 2006, so it's actually been about 4.5 years. And so tonight, certainly what we're about to tell you is a testament to both collaboration and perseverance, because this has been a long road that we are still on, but it certainly has paid off for the city and the school district, to be quite honest. Safe Routes to Schools is a national program which is administered in Ohio by the Ohio Department of Transportation, but it is something that draws down federal money from the Federal Department of Transportation. The whole idea of Safe Routes to Schools is that if it's appropriate for families, and again, for some families it's an appropriate decision, and for some families it is not, but if children are going to walk to school or bike to school, like many of us were able to do when we were younger, we certainly as a community want them to be able to do so in a safe manner and have safe sidewalks, safe crossings, signalization, signs that make sure that motorists are aware of school children, and also provide the educational tools for students to be aware of danger, to know what safety rules are, and to make smart choices if they are going to get to school with walking or biking. So the Safe Routes to Schools program is designed to encourage all of those things. And it also has the goals in mind of some really good health initiatives. Certainly we hear a lot about childhood obesity, and so anything we can do to encourage children to be more active is good. It can help alleviate traffic congestion around school buildings, which I know is always an issue. My daughter went to Lakeview last year, and I'm looking forward to not having to fight that traffic ever again. So I understand firsthand how problematic that can be for families, and also pollution around schools. It's certainly not good air quality for students to be breathing if there's tons of cars. So anything we can do to alleviate that is also a benefit. So in December of 2006, the city of Stow decided to pursue this opportunity, and we first entered into conversations with ODOT and the school district and the city of Munroe Falls. Ultimately, Munroe Falls determined it was not a project for them at the time to be involved with, and so the city of Stow decided to, on its own, work with the schools and with ODOT. We have a core group on our committee, which consists of myself, Rob Kurtz, who's here with me tonight, our Assistant Planning Director for the City of Stow, Dr. Jones, and also Sandy Ray, who most people know as Firefighter Sandy. And Sandy is part of our committee because of the education piece. Her job consists mainly of doing safety education for students in the schools, as you know, and this was a natural extension of what she already does for students to talk about safety and getting to and from schools. So when we first started talking about this project, we wrote a letter of interest to the Ohio Department of Transportation and did some preliminary studies of the elementary schools and Lakeview because it's considered part of the Highland campus. This initiative is limited to elementary schools, so it cannot be, by the way the project is written, it cannot be applied to middle schools or high schools, so we can't use it for Kensington or high school. But we did some preliminary studies, and ODOT liked what our ideas were enough that they gave us $24,000 to continue with some engineering studies. And the really, really great thing about this is there is no matching money from the city or the schools. This is entirely free money to us from the federal government via ODOT. So it's a really fantastic way for communities to embark on these projects without having to put up matching funds. So we did the study, and ODOT sent out engineers, and Rob and I and Dr. Jones were part of a tour one day. We walked around a bunch of buildings, and we took a look at ways children are already getting to school. And some of the ways that kids get to school, they take the path of least resistance, which may not be the way we want them to get to school. They cut through fields, they do all kinds of stuff. And so the engineers took a look at those natural ways that children find to get to school to incorporate it into our safety plan to see if they can be improved upon or made better for children. The trail going to Indian Trails School behind the school building through that neighborhood is a really good example. And that's one of the things that Rob's going to talk about when he talks about the project is one of the things that will be done. So we're really pleased, and a few months ago, we were ecstatic to learn that we were granted $284,000 from the state of Ohio to embark on improvements around Stow's elementary buildings, which is an unheard amount of money to come free with no strings attached to it. So certainly the committee spent a lot of time celebrating and patting ourselves on the back. And now we're done with that, we're ready to get down to business. So part of this is updating all of you on our progress and what the plans are going forward. So I am going to turn it over to Rob and attempt to run the PowerPoint presentation for him, and he's going to talk about more specifics on the project and what we can expect in the coming year.
Good evening, thanks for having us here. I'm going to go right into what our application was, because again, there's a lot of work leading up to it, as Mr. indicated, 4 years of work or 5 years of work. But now we're down to nitty gritty as far as an actual infrastructure application. And we were granted money to make improvements in four different areas. Fish Creek, Echo Hills, Indian Trail, and Lakeview Highlands. And this kind of is 3 areas. The application included sidewalk improvements, crosswalk improvements, and speed monitors. And I'll talk about speed monitors at the end a little bit more. So at, let's see, at Fish Creek, the improvements needed at Fish Creek were basically missing links of the sidewalk. So the purple is the existing sidewalk, and the green, light green, is indicating where sidewalks, we'd like to have those sidewalks installed. So, and this is the intersection of Fish Creek and Call. And we see we have a speed monitor there, and also improvements to the crosswalk. Now, so this is just an example. This is Hall Road looking east, and you can see the sidewalk ends here, and so the goal would be to continue this sidewalk to the east all the way to June Avenue. And this is the intersection. This is Fish Creek here, intersecting with Call Road there. See, there's no sidewalk here. There's also no sidewalk on Call Road. And the next slide will show kind of our crosswalk improvements, what we'd like to do there. So this is Collins Farm development. This is Stonebridge, the condominium development. And the existing crosswalk, as you all know, is here at the main intersection of the Collins Farm development. And then the kids have to walk here and across this, again, within the Stonebridge development. This trail isn't always maintained in the wintertime. So the goal would be to move the crosswalk somewhere in this area here, closer to the campus entrance, also with including safer signage from Hall roads indicating to voters you're entering the school zone. Also, moving it this way would get out of the sight distance issue that's concerning to us as well. So again, we think that's an improvement for the district. This is Lakeview Highland, and again, purple indicates where we do have sidewalks, and you can see there's a couple of missing links here that we're trying to address here. What's not shown, but we are aware of, is there's a trail that goes through the city property here, that kind of, you follow my pointer there. So making this little improvement there, this little elbow here, would connect this neighborhood safely to the school, where right now there's no sidewalk there at Northview and Ford Road. So again, sometimes there's just little sections of improvements that could make a bigger impact. Also crosswalk improvements, and there's a missing link there on Hannah that was indicated in our school travel. This is Northview, currently where the sidewalk ends. Again, it's looking south towards Rose, and we continue that sidewalk along with the road. I think we have another one. This is looking north from the intersection of Rose. Rose is right here, and again, add that sidewalk on both sides of the road for there, which will improve the connection on Northview. This is a little link. It's difficult to see. This is where the sidewalk ends. Again, this is a lot of this program is about. Is filling in those missing links. The sidewalk ends here, so the idea would be to connect that Hannah all the way to. I'm backing up a little bit. I'm forgetting the street there. That's okay. That's all right. So again, we're adding a link. Let's go to the next one. Okay, and this is a path that's already in place. This is the Indian Trail path that serves the elementary school. Its current state is, it's a trail, but it could be improved, and these crosswalks could also be improved. So this is this is probably one of the easier projects, obviously, because this involves some clearing and some asphalt work. So this is just a shot of the path that currently exists. So again, this is the speed signs that I indicated that we're going to be in 3 locations. And these are, I should caution, are not video or picture devices. All these do are indicate the speed that the motorist is going. The idea is to make motorists aware of how fast you're going through a school zone. And there are some variations where you can put a smiley face or a sad face if you're exceeding the speed limit, or to say your speed is. We have to determine exactly what will happen. So those will be located on existing utility poles if available, or other utilities, or they have to have their own structure. So again, and it also provides feedback from the traffic count point of view as far as number of vehicles that pass that intersection. So those hopefully will be effective. And again, we're not only making it safer for the kids to walk or bike to school. Part of that is making motorists aware of where the school zones are. So hopefully that'll do that job. All right, now finally, I just want to finish up with our status of where we are. Right now, we are in the project scope definition, which means we meeting with ODOT, doing another field check just to verify, okay, where the sidewalks will be located, if it has to be altered slightly. We're also going through the engineering consultant selection process, which with ODOT, it's fairly laborious, but we have to do what we have to do. So That's what we're doing now. We expect to complete that in the next month. And then the engineering, once the engineering consultant is selected, the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, those plans will be prepared, and then construction is anticipated beginning in 2012. That's my presentation. Any questions?
Long time coming.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Rob and Sarah for the report and all that you do for the safety of our children. And we appreciate you taking on that initiative and including me to be part of it. And so reminding me that, boy, it has been longer than 2 years. I think we've been meeting a long time right now. But thanks for all your perseverance to make it happen. And we'll continue partnership for our kids.
Rob and I both have to go do kid duty because we both have children starting school in a few days. So we're going to excuse ourselves at the end of the
Thank you. Thank you.
The other part of our report that I have is just to share some really good news. On Wednesday, the Ohio Department of Education will be releasing the local report card, which is the report card that all districts and buildings receive in the state of Ohio. That's based on the Ohio graduation test as well as the Ohio academic assessments, OAAs. And we have received our report, and I'm very proud to announce that once again, we are an excellent rated district by the state of Ohio. We met 100% of the academic indicators, plus attendance rate, graduation rate, and this marks the 5th year in a row. So we are proud to say we were excellent since 2006 once again. So congratulations to our students and our teachers for all the work they do with them in the classroom, classified for their support, our administrators for their vision, the Board of Education, our parents for all their support. It really is a major team effort to make something like this happen. So we're very proud to announce that. And then also last week we received some other great academic news on the performance of our students. And that is the American College Test, otherwise known as the ACT, which is one of the 2 major college entrance exams that kids take, gave us their report that showed our student results over the last 5 years. So look at those ACT results in the last 5 years. This year's 2011 graduating class reported that class had the highest ACT scores in the last 5 years in every academic category, including math, reading, social studies, and science. The top score in the last 5 years in all of those academic areas, which is all of them, by the way. And they also do a composite score, putting all the scores together. And the class of 2011 had the highest scores in the last 5 years as well. So just really thrilled. Sometimes people lose sight about what schools are about. And I keep saying schools are about children learning. And proof is in the pudding when you look at the kind of performance our kids are putting on the table, and I'm awfully proud of that. So just wanted to put that out.
Thank you, we appreciate it. And at this time, we'll take comments from the audience. Dominic Aristide.
Hello, my name is Dominic Aristide. I live at 4545 Cox Drive, and I'm representing basically our high school, but more specifically Stow Munroe Falls Speech and Debate. And my question is why is it appearing that your salaries are more important than our education? You guys have been talking about pay raises, and I know the treasurer recently was about to get a $15,000 annual pay raise, and everybody else around the school, like the teachers, are taking pay freezes, and they're getting more money, taking more money away to put in the benefits because that's what in their contract now, and they have to take more time in summer jobs and keep their jobs because now they're having a harder time making a living. We're having schools are having discussions about cutting some of our programs, including many foreign language classes, because they can't afford it. And yet you guys are talking about taking pay raises. Now, how are your salaries more important than our learning?
Well, I can certainly say our salaries are not more important than your learning. As I just mentioned, schools are about students learning. I can share with you that the administrators have taken the same pay freeze as all of the teachers and the classified employees, and also are paying the same percentage of their health care benefits. So I'm not sure, we've taken the same thing as the other employees. We haven't received increases.
I mean, really what I'm trying to say here is why are you guys proposing yourselves to get pay raises when we're having such financial issues?
Where are you getting that information?
I read the information online, and I get information that the treasurer was supposed to receive some sort of $15,000 pay raise or some sort of pay raise along those lines. And I don't think it's right to be talking about pay raises when we have such a financial issue.
It's not a true statement about the treasurer receiving $15,000 pay increase. There's no discussion on the agenda or in any past meetings about the administration receiving the extra money.
All right, well, that'll be all.
Thank you. Next is Karen Donadakis. Did I say that properly? Yes. Thank you.
Hi, I've been a Stow resident for 15 years.
I'm sorry, could you please state your address, your full name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen Donadakis, 2520 Samira Road, in Stow. And I have 3 boys currently in the system, one that's already graduated. And my first question is from a friend of mine who asked, so I would ask that, even if the new levy passes in November, will voters also see a levy renewal on any ballot in 2012?
We do have a levy that expires. Can you hear me back there?
No.
We do have a levy that expires in 2012. The board does have an opportunity to ask in the year that the levy expires, which is 2012, but we collect in 2013. You'll pay your taxes for 2012 and 2013. We also can have an opportunity to ask during a year of collection. So the board does have the opportunity to ask in 2012 and 2013.
I think that's what she was wondering, is if you are planning on doing that.
At this point in time, we are focused on the November levy, and the board has not discussed, and I've not recommended at what point we would go out for that renewal.
Now for me, I've read some statements in the paper lately about the board meeting, and Pat Matthews, of course, is here tonight. She had stated that it's a necessity for this levy, and I understand that there is money that's needed. But I've also, as a mom of so many, I've talked to a lot of parents, and the district, obviously, we don't have a problem as parents and citizens supporting the schools. And I know that you guys have heard this issue before. But tonight, what you said, Dr. Jones, in regards to us being in, what is it, the 6th year that we've had the excellence rate, which is wonderful. And I know that my kids learn very well, and we really appreciate our teachers. But one thing that main concern is the cost of the IB program. And that's a new program, and we are on such a shortage of funds right now to get the primary things done, even the languages and such. And I know that a lot of people don't agree with the IB program, what they've come to find out about it. And it is a costly thing. So why do we continue to go into this international baccalaureate, global-minded thinking, when our kids are already learning, we've already got excellence in our school system, but we don't have the money for it?
Well, I can tell you where we are. I can tell you where we are with that. We received ARPA funds from the federal government, much like the Safe Routes to School dollars, so they weren't local dollars. And we weren't even considering the international baccalaureate until we received those dollars. And part of the tag with that is it needs to be for a new or innovative program. And so this was a perfect opportunity to explore that, which we did at Indian Trail. And Indian Trail is, we've had all of our teachers train with those dollars, and they're up and running.
I know, we went to Indian Trail.
Right, so-
And many of those teachers that I've spoken with do not care for the program.
Well, I've spoken to those, so I'd be happy to speak with them. At Echo Hills, we were very frugal with the dollars we spent with that. We realized we had enough dollars to do it again at another elementary building. So at this point with Echo Hills, we've sent 6 teachers to training, and that's it. And we have a parent meeting scheduled next week to provide information about the program and get some feedback from the parents. And based on that and our discussions with the faculty, we'll decide whether we pursue it or we do not pursue it.
Okay, so I know that you did get some government funding, like you just said. However, it is been brought to my attention that monies have been taken out of Title I money. And I take great offense to that because I have a child that's in Title I. And I tell you what, those teachers are phenomenal in there. And I don't believe that money either needs to be paid Paul when it's a program. That really, at Indian Trail, we were not given the opportunity to be informed of what this, because if I would have known more about this program, I would have been there, and I know plenty of other people that would have been there saying, no, I don't want my child to learn about global thinking. It's very much against what the American way is about. You know, people tell me not to get out there and get personal about it. It's personal. I have 3 children in this, and then there are other kids, if it's such a great program, there are other kids in other elementary schools that aren't learning. There's not enough across the board, which to me seems very awkward and odd.
Well, I think Mr. Lacoste shared with me he did work with parents in terms of introducing the program. That's the first thing. The second thing is we haven't used Title I dollars and taken Title I tutors away. Some of the Title I dollars are used for tutors and others are for professional development in those buildings. And so we've used that professional development dollars, so it hasn't taken away things from kids or tutors. So
What about the money from Riverview? The money that's been claimed over at Riverview, am I correct in saying that?
Well, there were.
Money that was over at Riverview, maybe they're not going on the.
Let me clarify.
Can we just get rid of ID? That's what a lot of people want. And I'm very sorry, I don't want to look at that as a matter of a year like that, but a lot of people in Stow, which you guys, ultimately, you work for us, we don't want it. My is not global thinking. They're not.
We do truly appreciate your comments, but unfortunately, it's a public board meeting. It's not really an answer and question period. But please come to the meeting at Echo Hills.
I'll be happy to sit down and talk.
Could everybody use their mics? It's hard to hear in here.
I'm sorry, I was talking to
Sorry, I will. Thank you. Next, I have Misty Morrow.
Hi, my name is Misty Morrow. I live at 4340 Stow Road. My questions do have to do with the IB program as well. And the question that I have about it, my concern is I have a daughter who's going into 4th grade. Will she continue to get this in 5th grade? Since it has, I guess, will it grow with the schools? I'm afraid she's going to get it in 4th grade and then won't get it in 5th grade.
Well, we don't have any plans to try to authorize any other schools to be IB schools. What we have been doing is bringing in key elements of the IB program and working with our administrators so that they can kind of identify things from the IB program, like the IB learner profile, for example.
Okay.
To share that with their teachers, and so teachers can implement those elements in their classroom. So we're going to try to pull the good things, good important things, and try to continue that the best that we can. But we know we won't be able to add any of the buildings. So.
Okay, because that is my fear, is that she's going to get it at one school and then jump to the other, and it's going to be something completely different. And then the additional funding, if the additional funding is provided, what is it going to be used for versus if we don't get it? Like what, I know in the past we kind of cut out some of the busing and school, after school programs. What is it that's going to be cut out if the funding doesn't come in?
That's a good question.
Are we paying more to play, or what would be the?
We have had some preliminary discussions about, if the levy does not pass in November, what services we will not be able to continue to offer. And we're not quite, don't have that quite finalized yet, but we will be coming out probably the next week, I would guess, in terms of what that will look like.
To your knowledge, does it mean teacher layoffs?
Teacher layoffs are always contingent on class sizes primarily, unless you get into a situation in which you're eliminating, the specials in the elementary buildings,
Right.
which aren't required, so, you don't want to go there, but unfortunately, at this point, everything's on the table.
Okay, and then my last question is just a simple, has school uniforms ever been discussed for staff?
I'm not aware of it all.
And if that is something of interest for, and how would you, do you go about getting petitions for something like that, or how would you?
It's a good question, Superintendent.
How do we pay for that, by the way?
For school uniforms, there's, they sell school uniforms at Target. Just like they paid for, what was it, Justice now? I used to know
Actually, it might be
that.
even a better cost,
That's what I mean, it would actually be a better cost, and there wouldn't be that, all the conflict of different clothing, and I was just wasn't, absolutely, thank you, and that wouldn't be, and I wouldn't have the fight every morning as far as what my daughter's gonna wear. So I just didn't know if that had ever been addressed, or if it is something that will come up, or if you feel that that's something that, or maybe it's just not an issue right now.
I'm not sure it's been an issue for us in our front burner issue. I wasn't expecting that question tonight.
No, it's more an issue with me fighting with my daughter. When
Sure.
she's at work. Every morning.
You get into that conformity kind of thing and kind of leaving the peer pressure of, oh, I'm not, versus the individuality, I think, that argument. So, but I'll be happy to sit down and give you a call and we can chat about that.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments? Okay, then we will move
Yeah,
on to
can I ask
superintendent.
a comment?
Sure, can you please come to the microphone?
Sure.
No.
Michelle Schmidt, 4461 Bunker Lane. My question is with the meeting that's happening at Echo Hills that you mentioned on the 30th, what time?
7.
7 o'clock. Are parents going to be able to ask questions? Are you going to have somebody allowed to present negative aspects of ID? Or is it just going to be a rah-rah, drink of ID Kool-Aid?
We're going to have a informational presentation about the program. And we'll have some representatives of Indian Trail who've been involved in the program, and they can explain their experiences, as well as some parents. And Karen Moore is going to do an informational component as well, and some of the teachers at Echo Hills who have gone through some of the training will share their points, and then we'll have a question and answer session after that.
Well, if we get Lisa McLaughlin to come up, is she allowed to present?
No, we are not having additional presentations. We are having a question and answer session for the parents.
Okay.
Miss, can I explain? Lisa McLaughlin, just clear my mind. Does she live in Stow?
No,
Does she live in New York City? Or
I
New
don't know
York?
where she lives.
Okay.
I don't know where she lives. And then my next question is, there was a meeting November during the elections and the in-service day with the teachers from Indian Trail with Karen Moore that she's claiming she doesn't have memory of, where they did say they wanted to quit the ID program. Has anything been looked into why they would say this?
Ms. Schmidt, you need to refrain from mentioning certain individuals by name. It's in our policies to the bottom
Okay,
of our
the curriculum
agenda.
director.
Thank
They
you.
had a meeting with the curriculum director that's claiming amnesia. And I was wondering, has anything been looked into? Because I talked to one teacher over there, and they said the meeting did happen. They have minutes. They were all there, and it happened on the election day in service.
Well, first of all, I think it's very inappropriate that you would say that the curriculum director is claiming
That's
amnesia
what I've
because of
been
the-
told.
May I finish? Because of the implication of that statement. So I think that's inappropriate, first of all.
Well, it's in my opinion, I'll say that.
I'm not aware of that conversation, but I can tell you, when I've been to Indian Trail and communicating with those teachers, they are very excited about the program.
Could it be because they're afraid of their job and losing their job or getting transferred to another
No.
building? Speaking up, because they're afraid of their job, they're afraid of getting transferred.
You're speaking to the board, ma'am, and the answer to your question is no. The answer to your question is no, they're not afraid of losing their jobs.
Not the teachers that I've talked to.
Neither the teachers that I've talked to.
You have to
Can
stay
we move
relevant
on
to the
here?
business of our meeting, if you would, please. I would
Well, I
appreciate
asked
that.
Dr. Jones to put this on a meeting. Can you put an ID discussion on one of your board meetings? So we can just, not the Echo Hills, because who knows if you're gonna allow other parents to come that aren't Echo Hill parents.
Well, the superintendent and treasurer recommended the board the agenda items for discussion. And we have an awful lot of things facing the school district right now. We're trying to wrap up a classified contract. It's very important to us, and the classified. We have the start of the school year. We have a new 5-year strategic plan. We've got a financial situation that we're trying to deal with. We have a levy campaign that we're going to kick off very soon, and I'm probably forgetting about 15 other things. So, you don't see those items as agenda items. And,
Well, maybe they need to be so the public knows what's going on in our community and in our board office.
Well, we are communicating the very, very best that we can, and again, there's an awful lot of things happening.
Well, I'm asking you to put it on for a board meeting, not at just Echo Hills, because our other parents that don't belong to Echo Hills going to be allowed at the meeting.
We will certainly, yes, they are, and we'll certainly take that into consideration.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
I'm Anthony Earhart. I am representing, among other things, the Stow Munroe Falls Speech and Debate team. I'm going into my third year here at Stow Munroe Falls High School. There's been talk about cutting programs like foreign languages, and we lost some business classes last year. But I've been noticing, last year we had 4 principals at Stow Munroe Falls High School, 3 of which really did nothing but stand around in our offices and vote.
Okay, you're out of order, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, sir. This is a board meeting. It's not some place that you come up and make fun of
I'm not
or
making fun of
disregard
them.
any of
I think
our
I'm speaking in
educators.
common, belief here among the teaching. Dr. Ross came up to me and commented on my dress attire. Shouldn't he have better things to do than tell me how good I'm looking? Shouldn't he be talking to students, disciplining them instead of walking around?
Excuse me.
You're out of order, I'm sorry.
I haven't gotten to my question. You're talking about cutting foreign languages in business classes.
We are not talking about cutting
That's
any
been
classes
discussed in
at
the
this
past.
point.
That gets been discussed in the past. Shouldn't you be, talking about cutting more important things instead of cutting things that are important to me? You're supposed to be representing, I'm a student, and you're the Board of Education. You're supposed to be representing me, and you're talking about cutting programs
We are
that
not
are
talking
important
about
to me
cutting
as a
programs,
student.
sir.
That's been discussed in the past. Foreign languages.
Excuse me.
Tell us when it was discussed in the past and give us exact facts, sir. No, don't ask him. You're up here at the microphone. Talk to us.
Last
with your
year, there was
information that you
discussion
have.
about cutting foreign language programs. And there was a big uproar on Facebook among students to try and save them.
On Facebook?
That was a rumor, I'll have you know. That
Well,
was a
even
rumor.
if it's a rumor, it's
No,
something that's
fact
documented.
versus rumor, big difference, big difference.
Excuse me, the sunshine laws in Ohio are structured so that the Board of Education conducts its business in public. And we do allow comments from the audience, and at this time, we do need to continue on with our business. You can, at all times, contact the superintendent and ask these questions. If you are not satisfied with his responses, or if it's a question financial, you are free to call me. If you are not satisfied with our answers, you are free then to bring it to the Board of Education.
I'll just finish with start cutting irrelevant things and stop cutting relevant things.
Superintendent recommendations, Dr. Jones?
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan. Items, we have a number of employment items as we are about to begin the new year, and that's not a hot thing. Resignations and retirements, one reduction in force, and of course, filling some positions. As you know, as we approach the school year, sometimes folks find other positions, and we are filling those spots as well. So Our employment items are on the agenda, items A through N. A through N, as in Nancy. So unless there's any objections, I'd like to take all of those employment items together.
Yeah, may I ask a question, Dr. Jones? With this, I notice there's a lot of resignations, retirements, and employment. Trying to work the numbers, can you just give us a brief summary of where we are today versus where we were last year as far as headcount?
Yeah.
It was hard to hear your question back here.
Okay, all I was asking is, every so often I spring on him, with all the resignations, all the employment, I'm very concerned about our head count as it was compared to last year. So I just directed a question to Dr. Jones. How do we stand today versus where we were last year as far as head count?
I just didn't hear it. Thank you.
Okay, to answer your question, Mr. Mariola, when you look at, we could go back from the beginning of the summer to today for our classified employees, which includes aides, custodial, maintenance, food service, secretaries, transportation. Beginning of the summer, we were at 232 total, and as of August 22nd today, with this board action, we'll be at 230. So we're down to certified, includes teachers and tutors, and beginning of the summer, earlier this year, I should say, 351, and as of today, it'll be 340, so down 11.
Thank you.
So, I do wish to recommend that the Board of Education approves items A through N.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Mariola and seconded by Mr. Spangler.
Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye.
And item O is contract for services with Akron Children's Hospital. And this is for our nursing services for all of our buildings. I do wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the contract addendum with Akron Children's Hospital School Health Services. There are 2 students, since we approved the contract, that have special needs requiring nursing services to be available throughout the entire day. So this will add a couple hours to some nurses' time to cover the physical needs of those children.
So moved.
Second. It's moved by Mr. Mariola, seconded by Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Item P is contract for services with Harbor Education Services for the 2011-12 school year. There are several students that are identified by student number that will be requiring this service as their IEP calls for. So I wish to recommend the board approve that contract.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Mariola and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Item Q is a change order for Talmadge Asphalt. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the change orders for Talmadge Asphalt on the all-school paving improvement project as presented in exhibit number 10.
So moved.
Second. It's moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mrs. Wright. Roll call.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
And item R is also a change order for T&F Systems Incorporated. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the change order for T&F Systems Incorporated on the Woodland Roof Project as presented in exhibit number 11.
Can you give me a little bit more information on this particular, is this one that we just received, Kathleen? I saw it in your update, is there any additional information?
This happened while the job was in progress, and what happened is when they tore off the roof to do the project, they found that the membrane had been soaked with water and it deteriorated, deck, and the deck was starting to deteriorate. So before they could put the roofing on, they actually had to repair the decking, replace the membrane, and then go proceed. So it was something that we couldn't stop what we were doing and move forward. So it was investigated and approved by certain casino and Henderson.
Okay.
He was concerned about that when he did the presentation. He said
Yeah.
it was a possibility.
Yes.
You had that heat camera that showed spots. He was concerned with.
We were having water saturation problems and leaking, and we were having trouble finding the source of the leak. And I can tell you that since this has been repaired, that leak, knock on wood, hasn't happened. So we think this might have been the source of the problem. So it was definitely necessary.
Thank you.
Second?
Moved by Mrs. Wright, seconded by Mr. Mariola. Roll call.
Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye.
Item S is building use for elections. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve authorization of the Summit County Board of Elections to use Echo Hills, Fish Creek, Lakeview, and Woodland at no cost for a pre-election meeting on September 12th and for public voting on September 13th as presented in Exhibit number 12, and the Board of Elections will reimburse the district for custodial fees.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Item T is an extended field trip, and this is for high school band students, approximately 220, to go to Disney World to perform and march down Main Street, USA, as well as work with some guest conductors. And they're very excited about this. The trip is financed by students and the Stow Munroe Falls Band boosters and other fundraising activities, so will not be a cost.
Definitely move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Mariola and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
And item U is a gift. We do have some lab equipment, and I wish to recommend the Board of Education accept from Mr. Richard Myers, who donated a number of different labs.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second. Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mrs. Wright? Aye. Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
And that's all I have, Mr. Powell.
Thank you. Is there any old business that needs to be discussed? And new business, we do have some new old board policies. This is the first reading, and a complete copy of the updated policies from the OL Ohio is available in the superintendent's office under separate cover. And is there any reason for an executive session?
Superintendent, I would like the board to meet with the board in executive session to discuss and review on the contract negotiation for classified staff.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I requested that the board meet in executive session so that the superintendent and treasurer can brief the board on the classified negotiations.
Thank you. I'm sorry, did you move?
I did.
Second?
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mr. Mariola. Roll call.
Mr. Mariola?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright?
And also be on the board.
Yes, there won't be any official board action after our executive session this evening, except to adjourn.
Done. Come here, man.